I really enjoy this VPLD, the whole online sort of environment. It works for me, that's how I work. It sort of works for the kids as well. Just seeing a couple of teachers showing their demonstration of how they do it with their geography classes, and that's exactly what I'd like to do with my class as well.
I think the biggest impact that being a member of the VPLD has had is actually the impact that it's had on students in my classroom. And prior to joining the VPLD, I think I was teaching according to quite a traditional model in which I was the one doing a lot of the learning, creating PowerPoints, presenting them to students, and the students learning in the classroom was quite passive, and they were taking a lot of notes. And that has completely shifted now to just a short time later, when I'm applying these new pedagogies around blended learning and student-centered learning. And what's happening in my classroom now is students are working in groups, there's a lot of discussion going around, students are investigating questions of their own, they're being given resources to research online, they're running seminars as experts for themselves. I've also been developing in students the ability to give each other feedback and then reflect on feedback that's given to them, and trying to develop self-reflective processes in my students.
It's definitely impacting the way I think about how that can work, because I'd heard all of that terminology before and felt that I was developing very student-centred classrooms, and my role was changing a lot. But then once I the opportunity to be part of the VPLD enabled me access to information that I could actually read and explore a wider range of teaching practices, and I realised I could still go a lot further with what I was doing. So I guess I kind of thought I was at a particular point, and I came to understand that, but then I realised there's a whole lot more I can do around creating classrooms where the students can be in charge of what's going on, their learning, and how they engage with that and each other and with me.
For myself as a teacher, my role has evolved from one of directing the learning of students in my classroom to one of facilitating learning of students in my classroom. I guess, interesting things are happening. The other day, a student came up to me and said, you know how we're learning about hazards? You know the word hazard, that's actually an Islamic word, and I've been studying at home this, and I've come across this. And so they're bringing learning that's happening outside the classroom into the classroom. I also have students that are, I guess when they're given more choice in what they're learning learning things that suit their inclinations and their interests, and as a result of that, the learning is deeper. But also because they're making those choices and they're learning, it's relevant to them, and they want to share that learning as well. And so there's much more enthusiasm for the process of sharing learning, and they're really, I think, have a sense of ownership over that learning, and they become keen for feedback, and it becomes not just a process of let's just get this done, but they become invested in it.
And having the mentor there to actually get me to focus on what my goals were and where I should be going, and then also helping out by giving me the skills that I didn't have. I had your basic word processing skills and things like that, but I didn't know about all the interactive things you could do, and the VPLD has been fantastic for that. And the two conferences that I've been to have both been like just big melting pots for lots of ideas, and you go away with all these new ideas, and they're usually really practical things that you can do in the world of learning, because they're mostly all teachers. They know what it's like to be in front of a classroom, they know the restrictions, but here's a good tip to help you do this or that. It's been amazing, VPLD. It's the best PD I've had in my 33 years of teaching. How's that?
So coming to these sorts of meetings, it's been good. I get a lot out of it, get a lot of ideas, and what we could possibly be doing at our school as well. And how are we going to do that? That was I'm always thinking about, well, how are we going to implement that at my school? How would it work for our school? What would a collaborative environment look like at our school? So seeing all their ideas and how it works for them, I can see it working for me as well.
This year, for example, when it started at the beginning of the year, I felt not on at all. You know, if I had won lotto, I think that I would have resigned. And having Hazel as a mentor changed this into me. Like, I had lost the flame. You know, I just thought, oh well, I get paid. If I do a crap job or a good job, I still get paid the same amount of money, so who cares, you know. I didn't have any more, I was hurt. And Hazel, you know, helped me moving on, and, you know, and funding a good project that I was very interested in and passionate about. And now it's June and I've got the flame back, and I love going to work on a Monday morning. I'm excited about that, and that's thanks to her. She's also available even when it's not my time. So if I've got issues during the month, I can send her an email, and I know that within the day or the 2 days I will have an answer, and that she's very nice in the answer, and she's just wonderful. When I grow up, I want to be like her.
I think it's just amazing how much it's changed from when I first did it. It was, you know, they're leagues apart, and how people have just got on board, and how everyone is just a huge kind of community of, it's just amazing. It's a huge kind of community. A couple of these guys once a year, you know, I haven't seen a few of them for, you know, a year, and you may see them a couple of times online again, but, you know, when you see them, it's because I think they're like-minded as well. They're also wanting to improve their practice, so the people that volunteer to do these things are also in it for the right reasons, I think, and I think it shows when you come down and you're talking to guys that you haven't seen for a while, and they're just going straight into what they're doing in their classrooms, and you start talking about that, and it's an infectious kind of thing. And I think when you get all those people in a room together where everyone is like-minded, it becomes quite a, you know, everyone, you look at the time and it's 5 o'clock, and you don't kind of realise, because you've been engrossed in what you've been talking about. And I think there's no kind of people that are here because they just have to be, but it's people because they want to be here.